Welcome back to the Niagara Learning Channel. We're going to take a history that's accumulative history, so every day it's on an upward trend, and then take that history and show it on a daily what's being used. An engineer asked me how he could do that from his history that he's created, which is just taking a change of value, and of course it's always incrementing. If it's like a heat meter or an electric meter, it's always going up, so you never really see the daily bits, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So I'm on my supervisor at the moment, my server, and if we go to services, just make sure that if it's your station or your supervisor, make sure you've got this dashboard service installed. And you can find that from services. So if I click on there and I go dashboard, you should be able to find it there. And you've got the dashboard service. So you just drag it across and put it into services. Naturally, mine's already in services. And then we've got a dashboard pane there. So let's start and let's find the history. So if I go to my histories and let's go with, I don't know, I know we've installed some LoRaWAN. Here we go, LoRaWAN camstruct meters there, and kilowatt hours is good. And the first house we did, or the first flats we did, was Chester House. So let's have a quick look at that history. So that's what's happening today. See the upward trend, and if I go for year to date, you can see the trend there, year to date. And then if you go to your chart up here in the top right and you go down to your table, you can see that we started on the 2nd of April, and you can see the figures just incrementing all the time right through. So there's 500 records there, and right through to the 2nd of May. In fact, that 500 records really could be changed to unlimited with it being on a supervisor. So that's Camstrup Chester House. So let's show you what we can do here. So first of all, I would go to my PX files. Oops, PX files. Where are we? PX files. That's my histories, so that's going to be files above that. Files above. Here we go. And let's just right click files. We're not going to put it into a folder. Well, we could do. I could put it into Solihull folder because that's what it is. If I can find the Solihull folder, and we are there. Excuse me. And I can even put it into the PX there. So new, and this time I'm going for report PX file. I'll call it Chester heat meter for now. Go OK. So now let's open up that. Expand that, Chester heat meter. And then go into edit mode. And then I'm just going to, but there's other things you can do. You can put your dashboard pane on there if you want to. Like so. And then I can get my history, and I can drag my history into that. Or we don't need to use dashboard pane for this if you don't want to. But let's do it this way with the dashboard pane. And I need to find my history for it now, which was Chester House, Camstrup. Here we go, Camstrup. And where are we for Chester House? And I'll take kilowatt hours. So the energy that Chester House is using. Drag that, and I'm going to put that under my dashboard, if it will let me. Content, and drag that. Put that under there. And then my workbench view is going to be from palette, click on that and go web. And I'm going to be using a web chart, the HTML5 based web charts. And I'm going to click on chart and go OK. So there's my chart. Now with the dashboard pane, if someone logs in, they can actually change the data and it will be there for them next time they log in. So you don't have to mess around. It saves that information. And let's come out of edit mode now. So there's my chart. Now if I go for year to date, again, we're still going up and we don't want that. We want to know what's happening on a daily basis. This is where the magic happens. Click here on the settings tab and click your bars. You can see them better with bars. Click on OK. See it all incrementing still? Not a problem. Click here on the delta and then you see it for each individual day. Nice little trick. And then what you can do then is you can export that out. And all you do for exporting out is I'm going to save this as it is. And then I'm going to click this little export button here. And then I want it as a station file, charts. And that's what it's going to call it. But I can change that name in any way I want to change it. But I'm just going to leave it as it is in this example. But you may not want to do that. And go OK. That's now saved. Now we want to put that into a PX file. So let's get a PX file. So I'll go back into, so we don't need the histories anymore, so we can forget all that lot, and go into PX. And I've got lots of pages in here. I don't know what I'm going to do here. Let's just take that old one there. That's not being used anymore. And then let's just edit that. And I'm just going to delete all this rubbish here because this is not being used anymore. That's an old one. Don't need that. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. And get rid of that. Now what I'm going to do is go to my charts, which is here. And I would normally move that. Oh, it's not that one. So that's charts in Solihull. So there's going to be charts right up here in my files, charts, and that was the new one that we've just done there. So I would normally cut that and I would put it into my Solihull folder there under charts, and then I would drag that chart across to my PX and go OK, and then resize it to whatever size I want. In this case I might as well use up all the page and come out of edit mode. And that's my charts for that accumulative meter, energy meter for Chester House. And as you can see, daily usage. So the client can then see daily usage. Nice simple way of doing it. And you can do that with, of course, with any type of histories that are accumulating. Hope that helps you.